If you're just tuning in, we are going to breaking news out of Washington.
Officials searching for answers as to who, what, or why this...
Tell me how much time I have.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to What the Flick. Alonso Duralde, Christy Lemire, and White House Down co-star Ben Mankiewicz, who was not here last week when we talked about White House Down, and Christy had not seen White House Down last week, so we're going to talk about White House Down again.
Yeah. So, first of all, I just want to say what an honor it was to work with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum. I really, those guys were great. Jay Fox, C-Tats. So what's crazy is that I mentioned this to you. I've been on TV for 10 years, and yet you see yourself in a summer blockbuster movie, even in the tiny, small reporter's role that I have, and there's this weird. I got $861 for it, right? SAG scale, and there's this weird thrill that I feel like should not be there, but I'm like, it's a movie. Yeah.
Or are you like Joaquin Phoenix and Nicole Kidman, where you can't watch yourself because it ruins the craft if I get self-conscious?
Well, by the way, I did have trouble watching myself. I mean, there was a lot of this.
Really?
Is
that true?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
I would not want to see my face that large.
But I mean, it was such a small part that I was basically in a television on screen.
But there are moments where the whole screen is you at the desk.
And they used a lot of me. So, I enjoy working with Roland Emmerich. And
was he even there that day?
He directed me.
Okay.
Flat out. Full on, like leaning over the desk. Why don't you say this? Say it this way. Say it a little more dramatically. He was making it happen.
I thought you were second unit. I don't know.
That's right. No, I totally would have assumed that, but there he was, totally directing that. And then, like, they had just written the script, and he had very little interest in that. So he would ask us to sort of change stuff and say stuff a little differently, and he's a big liberal, so I could sort of hype up that part of it. He was really, he was all into that. But they used a lot of what I did, and it was great. I was there with Lauren Sanchez and Brooke Anderson, and the guy who I was with next to me in one of those scenes where we were talking about how the United States has become a rogue nuclear nation. I don't know, and I loved the movie, and it wasn't like a Die Hard takeoff. It was the second best Die Hard. I mean, it was the best Die Hard sequel. It was identical to Die Hard, was it not? I mean, there was no...
It kind of hits the beats, yeah.
I mean, it hit like 7 or 8 of the beats again and again and again. But, Die Hard was great, and this was well done, and they changed enough of it, moved it to enough of a different location that it felt...
On another coast.
And it's more fun than Olympus Has Fallen, I think. I mean, which was also a movie that I had a good time at, but I think this one's even more sort of exhilaratingly ridiculous.
Yeah, Olympus Has Fallen didn't feel as much fun to me. It didn't feel, Olympus Has Fallen had that moment where was it the president's kid or Gerard Butler's kid?
Gerard Butler's kid.
No, it was the president's,
kid.
So in this movie, in White House Down, it's the agent's kid.
Yeah.
In Olympus Has Fallen, it's the president's kid. The movies are identical. And
White House Down does not have Melissa Leo being dragged by her hair reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at full volume.
No, it was much less hokey.
Yes.
It didn't, and so. But there was the flag waving moment.
Yeah, in both.
but like in Olympus Has Fallen, like they set up that the kid, something's going to happen with the kid, and then like after 41 minutes of Olympus Has Fallen, the kid gets out.
Yeah.
And we don't refer back to that. So there were some odd things with Olympus Has Fallen, and this time it mattered. I think that we had these stars. They're just really, they're good. They're good.
Stars.
They're movie stars.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx are movie stars, and they carry the movie.
You mentioned the thing with the kid. This is the one problem I have with White House Down is that I don't know that I would have reacted this way if I weren't a parent, but I feel like they put the little girl, Joey King, the little 11-year-old daughter, into way more peril than they need to. I think there's a way to indicate these guys are bad and that they're ruthless without putting a gun to her head repeatedly and roughing her up. That felt to me needless, and it made me a little queasy.
But they did it to Bonnie Bedelia, so they had to do it to her.
Who's a grown-ass woman.
They had to do it here.
And not an 11-year-old. And she's a tough girl, and she can hold her own, and she becomes an eventual hero in this thing. But it's like, that felt gratuitous to me and needless.
It's a little maybe, but at the same time, I think they really go out of their way to establish her as a really interesting character. Like, think of how sort of mewling and whiny and helpless that kid could have been. Whereas here she is using, her tech savvy to like send footage out into the world, and she's busting the president's balls with hard questions. Like, she was really interesting and fully formed. So when they do rough her up, it didn't feel like she was this complete victim.
It didn't
No,
feel
she deserved that, though. I don't
No, but
think.
the reason why I
saying she
didn't
did,
feel
but-
the way you did is because of what Alonso said, and I don't know how I could have articulated it until he did.
She's
is
a
that
character.
Because she's a character.
Yeah.
She's a fully complete,
formed.
interesting character. She's mad at her dad for totally credible and believable reasons, but she, and then being this problem solver in this situation. So that made it okay. That's probably why it didn't bother me, because when you described it, I wonder why that didn't get to me. I allegedly have a daughter now.
I was going to say, in 8, 9, 10 years, it might bother you.
It's gonna kick in.
Right.
No, I had fun at this too. It is, it knows what it is. It does what it needs to do in a big, fun way, and.
But it did so poorly. It got bombed. I mean,
Why
it literally
is that?
said, it made $24 million over the first weekend. I never know. I have no sense now what constitutes bombing or not. But the headline said bomb,
Right.
and it made $24 million. So it finished fourth, I think. And it's the most expensive Sony movie of the summer. It's a big budget
More
movie.
than After Earth,
What I read it's their biggest
Wow.
budget. It's their biggest budget
which
movie.
also didn't open so hot.
But I think it's fun. I guess is something people don't want to see? The idea of the White House being taken over by terrorists?
Or people feel they are. I mean, Olympus Has Fallen did okay. Maybe they saw that and think they're
Maybe
covered.
that just kills it. I mean,
Confused
they
by
moved
this.
these movies apart, and the second one always feels
And like an
derivative of the
afterthought,
first.
yeah.
But this one is, I think,
No,
significantly
this is,
better.
I think, one of the most sort of. I mean, it's dumb, but it's one of the fun, most fun films of the summer.
Yeah, I agree. It achieved what it set out to do, and it achieved it well. I would give it a 7.5. I liked it. What did?
I think I give it like a 7.
Yeah.
I had fun.
And you gave it something like
What'd
that.
you give it?
8. I don't remember.
So yeah, you can check out you and Matt did
We
it
reviewed
last
it
week.
last week, yeah.
Yeah, and they liked it. So and we also liked it. And I'm the star of
Your
it.
hair was spectacular.
So we were hoping for a sequel, so there'd be more you.
I carried those guys. I took a photo during credits
Of your name.
Of your
of my name. I was like,
You're reporter
Nice.
number 2, anchor number 2.
Yeah,
Did they give
exactly.
you a name?
no, but it looks like because they just list the two people on the other guy's name was like John Hans Tester, so they just under reporters it just lists them all. I'm in column 1, he's in column 2, so it looks like I played some guy named John Hans Tester.
It's
Yeah,
also your gay European porn name.
totally. Yeah.
Conveniently enough. All right, bye.